Pre-video plugs. Twitch, I stream almost every day. Music channel, I'm gonna post my original music soon. Twitter, I have spicy hot takes. Links to all these places in the description. I love it when YouTubers are about to make like an angry rant and they want to be taken seriously, so they're sure to leave in the part of the video where they sit down and put their headphones in. It's like, I wasn't going to take you seriously, but then I saw you sit down in the chair. Dude, yikes, I better pay attention.
Don't buy Last of Us 2? F*** you. Seriously.
Well, we're off to a great start now, aren't we? Yes, I'm censoring naughty words in this video. I'm testing something. Let me be myself.
Who the f*** are you?
Who the f*** am I? I'm an adult. I'm an adult consumer who makes my own decisions. And I'm also someone who shares my opinions, much like what you are doing now. I haven't said don't buy Last of Us 2. I've hardly said anything about... I don't think I've actually said anything about Last of Us 2 since the leaks came out. Well, I'm about to. Isn't that going to be fun?
Now, I'm not making this video with the intent of attacking any certain YouTubers.
Wait, I gotta play that. Hang on, I'm gonna play this whole like 6 seconds unedited. Ready? Go.
Don't buy Last of Us 2? F*** you. Seriously. Who the f*** are you? Now, I'm not making this video with the intent of attacking any certain YouTubers.
The juxtaposition there. Oh my god. And for those of you who don't know what juxtaposition means, here.
So I'm not gonna name any names here. But I have to say, f*** you.
Wow, dude, you are a really tough guy on the internet. Super tough, got balls of steel, not saying people's names.
What gives you the right or the incentive to even justify my purchase for The Last of Us 2 because of some stupid splattered links all over the internet?
Okay, so good save there, because if you had gone through with what gives me the right, you and I were about to have a nice talk about the First Amendment of the Constitution. But then you rightfully corrected yourself to what gives you the incentive to say this. So what gives you the incentive to say you shouldn't buy The Last of Us 2? Well, leaks aside, we know that Naughty Dog has a reported 70% turnover rate. My goodness, that's a high turnover rate. Now, why is that? Apparently, the working conditions are just terrible. Apparently, the crunch culture is just awful. And apparently, people are scared to leave because the higher-ups will try to blackmail you by withholding your pay to make sure you don't tell people about the working conditions within the company. That's not even talking about the actual game leaks. I think that alone is enough to justify the incentive of someone saying you maybe shouldn't give this company your money. I have pretty much no connection to the first Last of Us. I played it, I thought it was fine, but I also know that looking at these leaks of Last of Us 2, and I've seen all of them, everything that's been out, I've seen it. If I was a fan of this series, I would be furious. And I sympathize with the Last of Us fans that are furious. I know what it's like to have a universe you love just be dumped on for the sake of making some kind of stance.
And then all of a sudden you can just justify whether the game is worth it or not.
Again, this has nothing to do with whether or not the game is worth it. It has to do with whether or not you want to give the company making the game your money. Because if you give the company your money, you are inadvertently justifying the practices that they took to make the game. And I'm not happy with that.
F*** you. 7 years of development? Are you kidding me?
So the game's been in development for 7 years, therefore I should buy it. Really?
I'm so sick and tired of seeing all of these YouTubers,
none of which I will name,
all of these videos posted saying, The Last of Us, don't buy this game.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. Nobody can tell you what to do with your money. Unless you're an 8-year-old or you have the mind of an 8-year-old, you're not going to not buy something just because someone told you not to. If someone is just out there screaming, hey, don't buy that. Don't buy that thing. That thing sucks. Don't buy it. I'm not going to take them seriously because I'm an adult, allegedly. But if someone says, hey, look at these f***ed up things that this company has done to make a product. Look at the mistreatment of their employees and here's the evidence of it. I'm going to be like, wow. Maybe I shouldn't give them my money for that. You're not separating the leaks from the game. The game was not the only thing about the company that has leaked. That is important. But just judging by the way you talk to people who disagree with you, it doesn't surprise me that you don't pay attention to the details of this.
Why? The diehard fans are going to buy this game with no hesitation.
I think a lot of the diehard fans are the ones most upset about this.
So why are you trying to drive people away from this shit?
Well, if the diehard fans are going to buy the game still, why do you care? If you think these leaks and people saying don't buy the game, if you think that's not actually going to have an impact, then why are you so bothered by it? Is it perhaps that you've already made up your mind that this game is going to be amazing? There's two very different ideologies here. There's the ideology of you, someone who's already decided that this is going to be an amazing thing and everyone should play it and nobody should not play it. And if you're not buying it, then you. Versus the other ideology of, hey, I'm hesitating because the leaks don't look good, I'm iffy on the story, and the studio's been doing shady things. Which one of us do you think is the more mature one here? I understand being upset about The Last of Us 2 leaks. Again, I was going to make a video just kind of like poking fun at them, but then I remembered how I felt during the Star Wars sequel trilogy. I know what that's like. I know I make fun of Sony fanboys on this channel a lot. I legitimately sympathize. I feel bad for them. It sucks when a universe you love just gets trampled on like this. You're allowed to be upset about this. You're allowed to talk back.
I get y'all are trying to go for the clout, trying to just hop on the, oh, Last of Us leaks bullshit. Like, I get it.
You know, there's reasons other than clout to be upset about something.
I understand how it works in this platform.
Do you understand how it works? Because look how long that my video is so far. Look how long my video is. How long I've been talking. I am only 70 seconds into his video. That is how much I think you don't know how this works.
But it's kind of stupid to me if you're going to buy the game regardless and still talk shit about it.
Okay, we're getting a little specific here. And I don't really know what you're talking about because you're trying to talk big without name dropping, which kind of defeats the purpose of talking big.
So if it's either you talk shit about the game and don't fucking buy it,
which is a completely viable option, by the way,
or you are going to buy this game and love that shit.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Either you don't talk about the game and you're talking shit about it, or you do buy the game and you love it. There's nothing in between, really? Jesus, dude.
And critique it, okay? So you're entitled to your own opinion.
You're entitled to your own opinion. Also, YouTube haters.
But I just can't stand videos on the internet not even justifying why the game is bad in the first place, just because of some leaks. Explain yourself.
I will gladly explain myself. I'm glad you asked. I'm about to burn lots of bridges. So from all of The Last of Us 2 gameplay that we have seen, the game looks extremely slow-paced. It looks extremely pretentious. The combat is very basic. The stakes are much lower during combat than they were in the first game. The mechanics seem both deeper and simplified at the same time. Like, there is more to the mechanics, but it's also being spread out in a wider surface, so it doesn't feel like a progression. It feels like a sidestep from the first game, if that makes sense. Like Arkham Origins to Arkham City. There was more mechanics in Arkham Origins, but it didn't feel like a progression, it felt like a sidestep. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but when Neil Druckmann talks about how amazing and how many risks they've taken with the gameplay, I just don't see it. The characters are inconsistent. The writing is amateurish. The overall message of the story, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it is stupid. It is so stupid. The story feels like a third grader wrote the outline of their own story, and then Neil Druckmann wanted to make it violent. That's the best way I can describe it. And you have to understand, there's a big difference between when, like, story points or, like, little cutscenes or something leaks of a game. There's a big difference between that and this, where, like, giant chunks of the game have leaked. I've watched, I think, close to 3 hours worth of leaks, cutscenes, gameplay. This game just does not look very good. And a lot of the reason why people have been so vocal about the backlash, not only is because of the way it disrespects the first game's characters and the first game's story and the first game's message, and it's not a progression of the first game's gameplay, in my opinion, but also the mainstream news outlets. Mainstream gaming news outlets, they are radio silent about this stuff. Find me how many articles or videos they have about how this game disrespects the first game, or how it's disrespecting the fan base, or how fans are upset about it, and compare that to the amount of leaks there's been just damage controlling and promising you that it's going to be great. So yeah, a lot of people have been extra vocal to try and offset that. Now, I don't particularly encourage being super dramatic in videos like that just for the sake of offsetting. You know, I think there is room for drama in YouTube and in everything, as long as it's still genuine. But, you know, I feel like you know what I'm trying to say. But ultimately, there's a big difference between some stuff leaking and everything leaking. I'm not making my judgments of this game based on some concept arts or some trailers or something, or screenshots. I'm not even making an opinion of the final game. I'm making an opinion of what I've seen of the game, which is a lot.
Why are you even looking at leaks? Why don't you wait till the game comes out first, then review it?
Because I want to know if my purchase is justified. Why do you look at trailers before the game comes out? Nobody's reviewing the game. People are giving their impressions of the game. If you review the game based on leaks, you're stupid, but I don't see a lot of people doing that. It'd be great if you gave names, but you're not going to do that.
Where does this mentality come from? No one has the balls to say this shit.
Bro, are you really talking about who doesn't have balls right now? You keep alluding to specific people and not saying their names.
No one has the balls to step up and say, hey, f*** you, other YouTubers.
Nobody has the balls to say, f*** you, person I won't name.
And here's another reason to bring up. Just because you hear about there is bad working conditions at Naughty Dog Studio, who gives a f***?
Ooh, wow. Okay, who gives a f*** about bad working conditions?
We feel for those people. Okay, if you're in a bad working condition, understandable. But did those people actually work in the Naughty Dog Studio? Did they know how it was?
This guy did.
Any type of business, any company, ask anybody. There's going to be bad working conditions somewhere else.
No. Actually, no. Because if everyone's working conditions were bad, we wouldn't call them bad. We would just call them normal. The word bad carries certain connotations. Like, bad.
That's the way f***ing business works. But at the end of the day, you got to put in that work, and you have to just roll with it.
Bro, that is not how business works. Oh my god.
You gotta just be like, I'm gonna bury my feelings and just it's business at the end of the day.
It's not business to mistreat your employees. It is not normal for a 70% turnover rate. It is not normal, nor is it good working conditions, to try and blackmail employees to keep them from telling people about the conditions. If Naughty Dog was so desperate to shut this guy up, what do you think we don't know about what goes on in these offices behind all these non-disclosure agreements? What do you think is really going on back there?
So stop this. I didn't purchase the game just because of there was bad working conditions.
A lot of people make buying decisions based on whether or not the working conditions are good or bad. If someone has really bad working conditions, I'm not going to give them my money. That's kind of how a lot of people feel.
There is bad working conditions literally everywhere. They just don't talk about it.
Yeah, no. Anyone who's worked a real job will tell you no.
This information got leaked out by just somebody, someone that worked at Naughty Dog just wanted to say how they feel on social media. That's probably the only reason why it's out. It's up to the person, of course. They have the right to say whatever they want, but...
Do you really think people have the right to say whatever they want? You seem to be putting a lot of stock into the things people say. Like, maybe you should just learn to get over the things that people say. Because no matter what somebody says to you, you are ultimately the arbiter in whether or not you spend money on something. Why do you care so much?
That doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't change the fact that the whole entire company put 7 years of hard work, of blood, sweat, and tears into this beautiful game.
See, like a minute ago you were saying you can't review the game if you haven't played it, but here you are saying they've put blood, sweat, and tears into this beautiful game. Do you not notice the hypocrisy of this?
Beautifully well-crafted game.
Beautifully well-crafted game. I haven't touched it, and you can't say anything bad about it, but it's beautiful and well-crafted. I need to drink this water. Hang on. It's beautiful, well-crafted. Stop it. Stop saying bad things.
It's like no words can even describe how good this game is.
Dude. This has to be a joke video. There's no way you have this little self-awareness.
Seriously. What other game does this? Have you seen the E3 gameplay demo? Have you seen these trailers?
Yeah, that's the other thing. There was some serious downgrades from the E3 demo. I'm calling it now. There's going to be a lot of comparison videos to the E3 demo once the full game comes out, because holy downgrades, Batman.
I don't understand how you're not sold on this game.
I'm not sold on this game because the gameplay looks really basic and boring, and the story sounds like garbage.
This game by no means is even gonna be like, by a year, let's say the game comes out and a year passed later, it's not gonna be like the #1 streamed game ever. It's not gonna be overhyped.
Oh, it's overhyped. It's overhyped.
It's gonna have a lot of popularity when it first comes out, and it's gonna slowly die down. That's just how Naughty Dog games work, and certain games work in general. Sometimes these games, they slowly will die off, but then the hardcore people will stay with that shit because they love that game.
And isn't it funny how Sony ponies will stick with exclusives and talk about them for years and years and years, but if you play an old game on a different console, then you for playing an old game. Rules for thee, but not for me.
Or company, whatever game it is, you know what I'm saying. But it's not overrated by any means.
You haven't played it.
Which is dope.
You haven't played it.
I don't really play overrated games
You're playing this one.
unless it's actually genuinely good and not just like some clout chasing bullshit.
Ooh, irony.
I've been waiting for this a long time. So I just have to say f*** you to those people that just think that they can justify my purchase or not.
Nobody is justifying your purchase. People are giving their own opinions on a product the same way that you are right now. Why do they not have the right to say these things, but you do? Why are your opinions more important than somebody else's?
Like, it's stupid to me, man. It's really dumb. I've been waiting for this game. I'm hyped. I'm streaming this shit.
Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. Sorry.
I'm hyped for Last of Us, Ghost. This year's the shit.
This year's the shit. 2 games. Wow. I'm excited for 2 games.
I'm making some Last of Us content. I'm hyped. I hope y'all are too.
And that Last of Us content is going to be really shallow and unentertaining because you've already decided how you feel about the game before you've tried it. You're going into this game with your opinion already made. Your content is going to be super not genuine. And I don't want to watch it.
Big shout out to any Last of Us YouTubers out there.
Are there really Last of Us YouTubers? Like, is that a thing? A channel dedicated to a single-player game from 2013? How do you even make content on that still?
Man, these guys trying to bury us, trying to throw us under the dirt, saying this game's trash. Out of here, man. If you've never played Last of Us and you don't understand the story, then shut the fuck up. Seriously.
Or, alternatively, play Walking Dead Season 1. Because it's just The Last of Us, but kind of better. Dislike the video, I don't care.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. I've played the first Last of Us. I have no connection to it. I thought it was fine. I think it's overrated. I thought the game was fine. I could do a 2-hour review on why I think the game was fine, but I don't want to make that video because it would be really boring for me to make because I thought it was just fine.
And if somebody legitimately has actual real experience with the game and they're actually unsatisfied when the game comes out, it's fine. That's fine. But if you haven't played the game, don't talk shit.
So if you haven't played the game, don't talk shit. But if you haven't played the game and suck its dick, that's fine. Fanboy channels are so weird. Like, do you not hear the things that you say?
That's a message to you, you other YouTubers.
That I still won't give the names of.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm posting Last of Us content. And yeah, Ghost of Tsushima content. Peace out. Laters. Love y'alls.
That was a train wreck. I am not saying you should or should not buy The Last of Us 2, but I am saying that you probably should know what the process of making this game was like. You should know what happens in this studio. You should know about the shady shit this studio has tried to cover up. And you should know about what a game is going to have in it before you spend $60 on it. That's why we have trailers. That's why we used to have demos. I don't know why demos ever stopped being a thing. You can make up your own mind as to whether you're going to spend money on something. And you can also decide if you are going to speak out against practices in the industry that you do not agree with. But most importantly, what somebody says about a product has no effect on your life. Stop acting like it does. I am intrigued to to see what happens when The Last of Us 2 comes out. I'm not buying it because I have no interest in the game, especially not after the leaks. But I'm definitely interested to see what happens once that game drops. Oh, and one more thing. If you're going to call out YouTubers, there would probably be a little more weight to your call outs if you said their names. Because when you intentionally don't give the name of somebody you're responding to, it means you're weak and you're not confident in your own arguments. You're trying to call out somebody's way of thought without the risk of them responding to what your way of thought is. And that's weak. Stand up straight and stand behind the things you say.